I want you to get together.
Hello everyone, how are we all doing? Just a random off-the-cuff video here today. I thought I'd share some thoughts and some updates with you about what's going on with the channel and with some upcoming topics I want to talk about as well. First of all, in terms of the Nephilim Look Like Clowns book project, Volume 1 I'm hoping will be published within 2 to 3 months. I'm working on the book cover and I'm having a lot of fun experimenting with different designs for that right now, and I have about one more chapter to write and a bit of a conclusion, and then obviously a bit of proofreading and making sure it's up to scratch afterwards, and a bit of editing as well. So I'm hoping a couple of months should be enough to do all those finishing factors, and yeah, then the book will be available to buy on Amazon. I'm going to self-publish. I might have to create my own publishing house for this, but that's fair enough. It's neither here nor there. And there will be an ebook available and a paper copy as well, and also an audiobook eventually. I'll read it myself and I'll upload it onto there too, for those of you who haven't got time to read. Obviously you can just listen to it in the car or something, or at home, or when you're having a nice brew. So that's something to look forward to. That's coming soon. But this does mean I have officially closed signed copy pre-orders through GoFundMe. So in the past, if you donated £100 or more, that would have given you access to a free signed copy of the book once published, and you can choose either volumes 1, which is being published soon, or both combined, volumes 1 and 2, once published in a year's time. But any donations to the GoFundMe now will only get you a special thank you in the book. It won't be eligible for a signed copy pre-order anymore. So a bit of an update on there if you're interested in supporting the book. And I might actually open up pre-orders through Amazon. Apparently you can do this, but I'm still learning to get my head, well, I'm still getting my head around the software, to be honest. But through Amazon you can actually set up a pre-order system on there, so once it is published it'll just get automatically sent straight to you, rather than having to wait for me to send them or anything like that. So that might be something I'll set up soon as well, if you still want to pre-order your copy and support me. But like you said, you can always support me through the GoFundMe if you still want to. But I've officially closed that for pre-order offers alone. I have 81 pre-orders. I wanted to stop it at 80, but obviously people got through on the day, so I'm letting them off. But yeah, 80 books to send all around the world is quite a lot of work, and I think it's enough. And those people will be getting the copy signed by me and sent by me personally. So that'll be coming soon, guys. And I think about 10 of you have wanted volume 1 so far, but I still need decisions from about 20 people on that list. So if you could send me your mailing address and your choice of volumes 1 or combined volumes 1 and 2, that would be great. You can do that by my email, which is understandingconspiracy@gmail.com. Okay, so that being said, a bit of updates there, moving on. I'm almost at 50,000 subscribers, which is quite amazing. I'm really happy about that. The channel's grown exponentially in the past few months, and a lot of people seem to enjoy just listening to me go on and on and on and on about things that I have been thinking about for years, which is incredible. So thanks to all the new subscribers who have joined. Thanks to everybody who's there on every live show supporting the channel and just enjoying the ride. It seems like everybody's really on board with this, and it's great. You'll notice I've been doing a lot of podcasts, a lot of the Nephilim Look Like Clowns promotion, a lot of going around explaining the theory to different podcasters. I was on last night with the Cross Files. That was a fun one if you want to check that out as well. And the day before that I was talking to Donut, I think it was. Was it Donut prior? I don't know, I've been talking to a lot of people, yeah. So earlier this week I talked to the Donut Factory, Alex I think his name was, if I can remember correctly, and he was a great guy, great talking to him. I think he's released our talk onto his Patreon, but it is on my channel as well. And I think he's going to be releasing snippets of that soon as well, with photos and editing involved. I was also on the Sensible Hippie podcast from Hawaii, and I've connected her with Vicky Joy Anderson, so I think she'll be interviewing her as well soon, so that should be good fun to listen to. And you can go check all these out on my channel as well. But coming up, I'm going to go back to the Millennial Kingdom stuff, I believe, this week. I have a guest coming on Tuesday, the Hijacker. He's a radio host who has just loads of ideas to share about the Millennial Kingdom theory and his own musings and ideas, and he just wants to talk about them. So he's coming on the channel to talk with them, with me on Tuesday as well. And on Wednesday, I think I'm talking about the clowns. And on Saturday, I'm on a radio show talking about the Little Season and Revelation. A couple of segments and a few more things in between as well. So it's non-stop on the channel this month, and it's great. It's great. Lots coming up, guys. Lots to look forward to. So there's an update to the channel so far, guys. I don't think I have anything else to announce other than the book project stuff. So that's exciting, and you've got that to look forward to soon. And again, I just want to thank everybody who's supported me so far with this. It's been incredible, and people are thirsty for the clown knowledge. It's even I was surprised at just how much this topic means to a lot of people, and just how much it's helped people find Christ and come to the truth as well. It seems like the clown topic, or the idea of the clown, resonates with people in ways that they can relate to, that I was just not aware of. And I think it gives good context for many people to help them contextualize the spiritual war we're in. It's something they can tangibly see and understand quite easily. And when I point out how the clown costume is used as a tool for channeling spirits and why, I think that's a visual connection they can make and go, oh, I see, I get that, I understand how that works, you know. And I think it helps them then realise, well, if there's spirit entities which are demons, then there's probably the opposite too. There's a God, and there's Jesus, and there's our power against them, you know. So I think that helps bridge that gap for a lot of people. And I was talking about that with Geraldine, and I think his name's Richard. I'm sorry if I'm getting that wrong now, but the guys over at the Crossfiles podcast about this, and I think it's definitely a topic worth discussing. I'll say this. It's I think we have to ask ourselves as Christians, realistically, in this new world, I say new world, the modern age, whatever you want to call it, you know, the age of technology and social media and short attention spans of that world. We have to ask ourselves, realistically, how are we supposed to connect with the new generation to get them to know God and Jesus? The old methods are not going to work. So things like, you know, churches, weekly sermons, somebody in a pulpit preaching, these were rituals which people got involved with in a religious sense in the past, and that's where they got their relationship with God from, and it worked because it was what you did. But today, that is just not going to cut it. It's not enough to convince a younger generation, I find, of the truth of God and Christ, when there's so much in the world against us, so much that they have as evidences, in air quotes, to prove our belief system wrong, so-called, you know, because everything's designed and geared towards leading them down the path of rejecting God and accepting themselves as their own gods, as the masters of their own universe, shall we say. And it leads to nothing but death and destruction, as we understand. We're trying to offer them a way in which they can follow, which will help them live their life more abundantly and in power and in truth. And I'm not trying to get culty when I say that. I mean, quite literally, God has a path laid out for them that if they should follow it, it would be the best thing for them, and they could feel and live that and experience that and have a good, happy life. But we tend to want to go our own way, and the youth are quite rebellious by nature, so going their own way is how they're always going to want to do these things. And I've done it, we've all done it, you know, in our youth we've all gone that path, and it led to nothing but death and destruction and despair and misery, you know. And any happiness we thought we had was pales into insignificance compared to what the happiness we received once we actually accepted God into our lives. There's a lot of delusion around these age groups where they think that what they're doing is the greatest thing ever. They're taking all these drugs, partying, mindless, meaningless sex, and they think they're living the life, you know, and everything's great and wonderful, until the consequences of those actions start to come later in life. Damaged internal organs, brain cells, disconnectivity, inability to hold meaningful relationships, all the stuff, all the bad stuff starts to turn up, you know, and then they end up broken and lost, and Jesus is there to save them if they should ask, you know. And again, we need to come to their level to get to them, to explain that to them, and simply just preaching the word, although powerful, is not enough on its own anymore. And I know that's hard for people to hear. I know people say, no, that's blasphemy, the word is enough, just preach the word and everything's perfect, no problem. But I feel like we need to go a little bit more. We need to add more than just the word. Preach the word, yes, absolutely, preach the basic gospel. Fundamentally, that's the base for what you're building up here. But as I have learned through my own experience, it is talking about things like clowns, of all things, that really gets to them. It's something they can relate to. And because obviously they've been inundated with clown-themed media centered around Luciferian doctrine for so long, that it's actually something they can go, oh, that's just like Has Been Hotel, for example, you know. And you have shows like Has Been Hotel, for example, which is around right now, which paints God in a negative light, makes Lucifer out to be the cool, suave, sexy, sophisticated intellect that is just witty and wants to have a good time and is your buddy, you know, when that's just not the case. He's your enemy who wanders like a roaring lion, seeking whoever he may devour. So if you allow him to, he will kill you spiritually. He'll take you. He will eat you. he will make you null and void and spiritually dead. And that's his aim. You know, he wants your soul for himself, I suppose, is another way of describing the same thing. But all the media that these kids are listening to, these teenagers and these early young adults, is all centered around making them think Satan is cool and God is boring. And we need to prove to them that actually you're in the middle of a serious spiritual war, and the methods used against you are extremely psychedelic and trippy and weird. And you need to understand that it's more powerful than you can understand. You need to learn what magic really is. It's not wands and spells and flicking lights, sparkles coming out the end of wooden sticks. It's certainly not rabbits being pulled out of a hat and just simply illusion, card tricks. Magic is using sound, words, images and artwork to manipulate your mind and to control you, to make you choose to do things which you think you're doing of your own free will and volition, but really you are molded and directed through magic to make that choice and that decision. And the sooner you understand the power of real magic and how it works through art forms like, for example, once more, Has Been Hotel, let's say, through these pieces of artwork, the narrative they spin embeds into your mind and manipulates you into believing a false reality, to believing that the devil's cool and God is lame, basically. That's magic. If you've fallen for that because you watch these shows, you've been magically altered, okay? You've been alchemically changed. You've been manipulated. You've been played. And I think conspiracy YouTubers like myself, from the Christian perspective, are in a way bridging that gap. And I'm only saying this, I'm not saying I'm doing it perfectly, I'm not the only one. There are plenty of brilliant channels out there who are doing a fantastic job, probably better than I am, okay, and I'm thankful they're there. And I like to connect with those people too, and I try and talk with them and bring them on my channel, of course. But that's kind of the level we have to be at. We have to get to the social media and we have to talk to them from a point they can understand. And I'm getting old, you know, I'm 31 now and I'm almost 32. You know, I'm getting to the point where I'm struggling to find a connection with what the younger people are involved with. I'm falling behind on the technology now that's kind of dictating their existence. I'm falling behind on the social media and the connectivity, the networking that they're on, and the media that's the memes that are controlling their perceptions. So I kind of need audiences like yourself to keep me up to date, because, you know, and I guess like I said, I seem to have this odd niche about the clowns, which really does relate to them. It's because they're so bombarded with the clown imagery right now that it's something they can viscerally understand when I tell them its origins and where it comes from and why they need to be weary of it. And yeah, I guess I'm thankful for all the messages I've received from people telling me that it's opened their eyes and it's brought them to God, and it's confirmation that it's working and what I'm doing is not just a fruitless effort, as much as some people like to tell me I'm being stupid or ridiculous for even discussing such a topic. I mean, I want to make it clear, guys, you know, I'm not a clown obsessed weirdo. Like, I'm a relatively normal guy, and I don't really think about clowns, and I never really thought about clowns prior to doing this research. And when I do my work on this, I'm not trying to be silly with it. I don't want circus music going on in the background, like do 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 do. I don't want that in the background. I don't want to show silly clowns with wide grins and red noses all the time. I don't want to have horns honking away and unicycles and all this type of stuff. I don't want to show these silly, trivialized images of clownery, because that's not my point. What I'm trying to say is what we call a trivial, silly, honking clown, which is by design, by the way, to make it trivial and stupid and silly for the children. To these ancestor spirit worship cultures all around the world, when they dress in ways which we would label clownish, they're venerating their gods. They're deadly serious. It's nothing to do with circuses or clowns to them. It's really serious. So anyway, guys, I'm going to leave that there. Thanks for listening, and as always, God bless.
I want you to get together.